sporadic lectures, by lectures. Now, no matter how much a lecturer comes and gives you a lecture, no matter how good the lecturer is, you cannot acquire a comprehensive understanding of a topic and become a master of it until you don't cover the whole syllabus. It's like me saying, I'm going to deliver a lecture on a particular area of medicine, and I expect you all to be experts in that area. No. In order to become an expert of any field, you need to understand the whole picture rather than just one topic. The problem with lectures is we have very few of them that are comprehensive. When we have them, there's time issues, there's language issues, and the material available on the internet actually ends up confusing people more than actually enlightening them. I've never encountered an internet scholar who has graduated from the internet simply because there's so much out there, you don't know who to not to believe. And everyone's saying that we're right, so of course there's no easy way. The other problem is that the mosques that are in the, especially in the United Kingdom, in terms of education, what do they have to offer? The only thing that they have offered is what they have inherited, and that is the ability to recite the Quran, the ability to memorize perhaps 6 and a few other verses. That is not the way forward, simply because the ability to recite the Quran is virtuous. It's a good thing. If you know how to recite the Quran, it's excellent. But simply knowing how to recite the Quran isn't the answer. If that's the case, then people who are born in Arab homes, who are Arabs, they should be perfectly guided. Why are they not perfectly guided? Knowing Arabic is not the key to salvation, or it's not the key to progress. It's part of it. But the problem is, people give up, especially those who are non-Arabs. They give up because they think, well, this knowledge in Arabic, and we don't have access to the Arabic language. They can't speak or understand Urdu properly. And even when an Urdu lecturer comes, sometimes there is a tendency to use one word in a very long sentence, which they would have understood, but because of that word they can't understand. Urdu as a language, without saying too much of it, it's actually a nicked language. It's not an original language. And so therefore, there's a tendency that you use a word which is not clearly understood, and hence you could easily lose an audience. So the lost generation really had very little hope in accessing those sacred sciences. There's about 11 sacred sciences which you need to acquire before you can begin to start breathing. When I say breathing, breathing in terms of once you, it's not that you gain those sciences and you know the Quran inside out. No, once you ascertain those 11 sciences, only then can you start diving into this ocean. So it's not that any course will teach you the inside out of the Quran and Sunnah, and that's it, you're graduating. You don't have, there's no such a thing as a graduation in Islam. No one graduates. The Prophet ﷺ said, this pursuit of knowledge is first upon every mu'min, male and female, likewise, till when? اطلبوا العلم من المهد إلى اللحد, from your cradle to your death. So there's no such a thing as a graduation. We are all students. We will never graduate. Why? Because that quest for knowledge will always be there. But this lost generation has no hope simply because there is no structured system available to accommodate them. It's a very rigid system there. Therefore, the only recourse they have is to occasional lectures, which are never comprehensive, and I've covered this point. The net result, the net, not the gross result, the net result is that they conduct their lives in ignorance. And the ignorance with which they conduct their lives has a direct impact on the quality of their lives as Muslims, but not only as Muslims, as human beings. I'll give you examples. Sectarianism. You've traditionally been taught, we are Sunni, this is Shia, this is Wahhabi, this is this. You're taught, this is our identity, we don't mix with them, we are this, they are this. But the problem is, what is the criteria if 95% of people in this room were Sunnis? What is the criteria upon which you became Sunni? Is it because your parents were Sunni and that's why you're Sunni? Well, if that's the criteria, what if your parents were, for example, Shia? Would you still be Sunni? If you were born into a Wahhabi home, would you still be sitting here in this mosque? You see, in this day and age, knowledge is the way forward. When you have knowledge of what the next person believes, you not only have the ability to relate to what he or she is saying, but you have that peace of mind that what you have is the result of not what you have inherited, but is the result of what you have yourself evaluated. Now I'm going to say something very awkward, and you may want to ask questions on this. If your scholar tells you to pray in a certain way, he says, when the Imam says, you say, Ameen, loudly. And when you go stand up from ruku, you say, you do the then. If your scholar tells you to do that, hypothetically, and if you go to your grave, and the angels say, why did you used to say Ameen loudly? Why did you use to Rafa'il then? You can say, I did it because my scholar told me to do it. Fine. Even if it was wrong, you follow the scholar in earnest. Your following what something is in earnest. You are covered. Your insurance policy covers you in that you relied on someone else's better knowledge and you followed it. But when it comes to sectarianism, that insurance policy doesn't come in. You cannot simply say that for example, if you're asked in your grave, you followed a certain sect, you can't say, well, I followed the sect because I followed a scholar. The decision to which sect you belong to must be a personal decision. It cannot be a decision based on, well, I was born in a Sunni home, or I had Sunni friends, or I had Shia friends, so I